So welcome to the fifth session of Module 2, Velocity and Acceleration Analysis by Graphical Method in Kinematics of Machines. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss what is Coriolis component of acceleration and numerical on Coriolis component of acceleration. So first of all, let us understand what is Coriolis component of acceleration. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed the different elements of acceleration. So one is radial acceleration, which is acting towards the center of rotation of a element, right? Another one is tangential acceleration, which acts tangent to the link. So along with these two acceleration, so there is another acceleration occurs in special cases called a Coriolis component of acceleration. So if you see this quick return motion mechanism, so in this quick return motion mechanism, so if you see the motion of a slider inside the slotted lever. So if you understand how exactly the motion of this slider happens inside this slotted lever. So it is not only having sliding motion, but also it is having rotational motion. So you can see, so it is not only having sliding motion, but also it is having rotational motion, right? So in any of the element which is having combination of both sliding as well as oscillating motion, then there is a special component of acceleration will appear, which is nothing but Coriolis component of acceleration. I repeat, so this slider, if you observe the movement of this slider, so it is not only having sliding motion, so but also having oscillating motion with respect to this center. So if any element having the combination of both sliding as well as oscillating motion, then there is a special component of acceleration will come into picture, which is nothing but Coriolis component of acceleration. So if you see the ram, it is having purely sliding motion. It does not have any other motion except the sliding motion. Therefore, so here we are going to obtain only tangential acceleration, right? But whereas this slider, it is having both sliding as well as oscillating motion. Therefore, Coriolis component of acceleration will come into picture. Now let us derive the relation between the acceleration, that is Coriolis component of acceleration, velocity, and angular velocity. So consider a link OA which oscillates about the fixed center O with the constant angular velocity omega radians per second. So the link OA also contains a slider B uh, which uh, which is free to slide with the velocity v meter per second on the link OA. So when this link OA rotated by an angle d theta to a new position OA dash in time dt, so what happens from, you can see dotted line, from B to C, this slider will move due to the rotation of the link. So from B to C, the change in position of the slider is due to the rotation of the link. So next, from C to D, the movement from C to D takes place. It is due to the outward velocity of the slider B. From C to D, movement takes place due to the outward velocity of the slider B. So that velocity is v meter per second, that is linear velocity. Okay, now from D to E, the moment of this slider takes place due to the acceleration perpendicular to the link. So this acceleration is nothing but the Coriolis acceleration. So in order to reach the position from B to C, so it has to pass through the two step, right? So first step is due to the rotation of the link, in the second step due to the outward velocity of the slider, then in the last step due to the acceleration perpendicular to the link. So this additional acceleration is nothing but a Coriolis component of acceleration or Coriolis acceleration. So in order to derive the equation for this Coriolis component of acceleration, so let us consider the line CD which is parallel to link OA. Now I want the arc length DE. So consider this triangle CDE. So in this triangle I want arc length DE because we are getting the acceleration over here, additional acceleration. Therefore, so I am concentrating on this triangle CDE. So in this triangle, so first let us find the arc length of this DE. So arc DE is nothing but arc DE is equals to radius multiplied by the angular displacement. So radius is a CD multiplied by the angular displacement theta. So here CD is nothing but this displacement from C to D takes place due to the velocity, change in velocity, right? So therefore V into dt represent the change in velocity with respect to time. So multiplied by the d theta, because CD is equals to V into dt. Next, so this d theta is nothing but what? Angular displacement, the change in angular displacement. So therefore omega into dt. So in place of theta can d theta can be written as omega into dt. So now, so what happens? So this equation becomes V into omega into dt square, because here we have dt and dt, therefore it becomes V into omega into dt square. So call this one as equation number 1. And we know that the motion equation S is equals to ut plus of at square. So we know this displacement equation. So here S represent the displacement, U represent the velocity, whereas A represent the acceleration. So the change of displacement or motion with respect to time. So call this one as equation number 2. So here S represent the displacement, right? So here arc D is the displacement, therefore so I will consider S as a arc DE. Next, so its initial velocity is 0, therefore U is equals to 0. So next, acceleration, whatever the acceleration I am going to get in this triangle is the additional acceleration, which is nothing but Coriolis component of acceleration. It is denoted by capital A suffix Cc. Cc represents the Coriolis component of acceleration. So in place of A, I am going to substitute ACC. And so dt represent the change in time, right? So change in time, or with respect to time, the displacement is happening, therefore t is equals to, in place of t I am substituting dt. Therefore the equation 2 becomes, so after substituting all these values in the equation number 2, equation 2 becomes, so arc de in place of s, and this becomes 0 because initial velocity is 0, and of acceleration is acc, t is nothing but dt. So therefore half times of a suffix cc dt square. Call this one as equation number 2. Now I am going to compare equation number 1 and 3, because in the left hand side arc DE is same. So I am comparing equation 1 and 3. So V into omega into dt square is equals to half times of Coriolis component of acceleration into dt square. So here dt square get cancelled. Therefore Coriolis component of acceleration becomes 2 times of velocity, that is linear velocity multiplied by the angular velocity. So this is the equation for Coriolis component of acceleration. So using this equation, easily we can find the Coriolis component of acceleration acting on the slider. So next one, the direction of Coriolis component of acceleration. So in this section, we are going to see how exactly the Coriolis component acts, or in which direction Coriolis component acts. So here there are four figures. You can see the direction of this Coriolis component of acceleration depends on the direction of velocity and the direction of rotation of the link. So if link has velocity component moving forward, then the acceleration will be acting towards the direction of rotation of the link, and vice versa. So in the first case, you can see the velocity component, you can see the velocity component, so which is acting forward direction, right? The velocity component is acting forward direction. So in that case, the Coriolis component will follow the direction of rotation of the link. So here link is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So therefore, this Coriolis component of acceleration will also move in the same direction. Okay. So in the second case, velocity is moving forward direction. Velocity is moving forward direction, and the link is rotating in clockwise direction. Since velocity is in forward direction, this Coriolis component of acceleration will follow the direction of rotation. In the third case, velocity is acting in a reverse direction, not in the forward direction, in the backward direction it is acting, and this link OA is rotating in a anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, Coriolis component is acting in the reverse direction. Okay, Coriolis component is acting in the reverse direction to the rotation of the link. Similarly, in the fourth case, velocity is acting in the backward direction, and it is rotating in a clockwise direction. Since velocity is acting backward direction, this Coriolis component of acceleration follows the reverse direction of rotation. Okay, so this is the direction of a Coriolis component of acceleration. So this is very important in order to solve the problem, because we have to judge, or we have to decide in which direction the Coriolis component of acceleration is acting. So next one, we are going to solve a problem based on Coriolis component of acceleration. So the statement of the problem is, the following figure shows a crank and slotted lever quick return mechanism in which the distance between the fixed centers O and C is 210 millimeter. The driving crank CP is this one, 105 millimeter long, and it rotates clockwise at 90 rpm. The length of the slotted link OD, this one, is 420 millimeter, and the length of the link DE, this one, is 165 millimeter. The line of stroke of ram E is horizontal, this one line of stroke, and 210 millimeter above the fixed center. So from this fixed center it is located 210 millimeter. At the instant when the angle OCP is 110 degree, this angle OCP is 110 degree, find acceleration of ram E. So we have to find the acceleration of this ram E. So this is one of the special case, because uh, along with the two components of acceleration, we have the special acceleration called Coriolis component of acceleration, which occurs at this point where the slider and the crankshaft meets. So because it is having both oscillatory as well as sliding motion. Okay, so here OC are the fixed point, CP is the crank. So in bracket we have represent Q. Q is nothing but this slider. Q represent the slider. So this is another point D. So DE is the link which connects the RAM. So distance between RAM and the fixed center is 210. So this is one of the important problem, appeared twice in VTU exam, and this is for 20 marks. So always first step is we have to draw the configuration diagram. So but in order to draw the configuration diagram, we have to take the suitable scale, because so here it is given in millimeter, and the length is very high. Therefore we have to take the suitable scale in order to fit our diagram within the sheet. So here we are considering 1 centimeter is equals to 50 millimeter. So therefore the length of link OC becomes 4.2 centimeter, and length of a CP becomes 2.1 centimeter, and length of OD link becomes 8.4, and DE 3.3 centimeters respectively. So next let us see how to draw the configuration diagram. So in order to draw the configuration diagram, so we have considered the scale. So first of all we have to locate the fixed center O. First of all we have to locate the fixed center O. So from this fixed center O, draw a perpendicular line OC whose length is 4.2 centimeter. So draw a draw a vertical line from O by taking length 4.2 centimeter, and here locate the point C. So this one is also another fixed point. So first locate the fixed center O. From this fixed center, draw a vertical line of length 4.2 centimeter, and here locate another fixed point and name it as C. So this is first step. So next step, so we have to draw the crank CP. So we have to draw this crank CP whose length is 2.1 centimeter, and also so this inside angle, this OCP is 110 degree. This is 110 degree. So we have to draw this CP line by taking a length 2.1 centimeter and inside angle 110 degree. So this is the second step. So in the third step we have to draw slotted lever OD, slotted lever OD whose length is 8.4 centimeter. So here while drawing this line, be careful. This line should pass through the point P. This line should pass through point P. So then only we are going to obtain the oscillatory motion with respect to point O. So this length OD is 8.4 centimeter. Okay, from this point O, draw a line. This line should pass through the point P. So this is the third step. So in the fourth step, in order to draw this DE, see from this point. So before that, we can locate this slider. We can locate this slider. So this slider is common for this crank CP as well as the oscillator link OD. Right. So in this intersection, we have to locate a slider Q. We have to locate a slider Q. Okay. So once this much is over, then we have to locate the uh, link DE. So take a radius 3.3 by keeping at this point, cut an arc like this. By keeping at this point, cut an arc like this. Take the radius 3.3 centimeter. So next, so from this point C, take 4.2 centimeter radius and cut an arc like this. Okay, so take 4.2 centimeter by keeping at point C, cut an arc like this. Now from this intersection point, draw a line. Draw a line like this. This represents a DE, and this dotted line represents a CE. And at this intersection point, I'm going to locate a RAM, and I will name it as E. So like this, we can draw the configuration diagram. So next up, we are going to see how to draw the velocity diagram. So before that, let us understand how exactly the velocities are acting on each element. So first of all, let us consider the crank CP. See, for this crank CP, this crank is rotating in a clockwise direction, right? It is rotating like this in a clockwise direction. Therefore, velocity for this link is perpendicular to it or tangent to it, right? So therefore, this velocity is velocity of P with respect to C. Next, so coming to this slider, so this slider is common for two link, right? So it also belongs to the crank CP, and also it belongs to the link OD. So first let us consider this slider belongs to this crank CP. Okay, so if we consider it belongs to crank CP, it is sliding along this direction. It is sliding along this direction. Therefore, velocity is parallel to the direction of motion. Velocity is parallel to the direction of motion. This velocity is nothing but velocity of Q with respect to P. If we consider the slider belongs to the crank CP. Okay, suppose if we consider the same slider belongs to link OD. So what happens? The link OD oscillates, right? The link OD oscillates with respect to point O. Therefore, its velocity is perpendicular to it because it is neither sliding nor rotating, right? Neither sliding nor rotating. It is oscillating. Therefore, its velocity is perpendicular to it. I will call this velocity as velocity of Q with respect to O. So this velocity is nothing but velocity of this slider with respect to O, because slider is common for two links, right? This slider is common for two links, link CP as well as link OD. Therefore, we are finding the two velocity for the same slider. Next, so coming to the link DE, this link DE is also oscillates, neither slides nor rotation. It is oscillating member. Therefore, its velocity is perpendicular to the link. This velocity is nothing but velocity of E with respect to D. Velocity of E with respect to D. So coming to the RAM. So this RAM is having sliding motion to and fro, right? This RAM is having sliding motion to and fro along the horizontal plane. Therefore, velocity is parallel to the direction of motion. See, this is the direction of motion. Therefore, velocity acts parallel to it. This velocity is nothing but velocity of E with respect to this O. Velocity of E with respect to O. So, like this, on different links, velocities are act. And in exam, no need to show these velocities on configuration diagram. So this is for our reference in order to understand how exactly the velocities are acting. So if we draw this velocity lines on configuration diagram, it become easy for us to draw the velocity diagram. Okay. So in this step, we are going to draw the velocity diagram. So for that, so first we have to calculate velocity of any one link. So in the problem, the speed of the crank CP is given, that is it is rotating with 990 rpm. So this crank CP is rotating with 90 rpm. Therefore, using this we can calculate the angular velocity of C with respect to P or P with respect to C. So omega is equals to 2 pi n by 60. N is 90. We are going to substitute in place of n 90, and after simplification we got omega value 9.424 radians per second. So this is the angular velocity of a crank CP. Next, we know that linear velocity can be written as V is equals to R into omega. R represents the radius of the link, omega represents the angular velocity of the link. So this is angular velocity, and the length of this CP is 105 millimeter. Length of this CP is 105 millimeter, and this is 9.424. So after simplifying we got 0.989 meter per second. This is linear velocity of a link CP. So as it is difficult to draw the velocity diagram. That is, by using this value it is difficult to draw the velocity diagram. So we have to take a suitable scale in order to draw the velocity diagram. We are taking 1 centimeter is equals to 0.2 meter per second. Therefore this becomes 0.989 divided by 0.2. Therefore VCP becomes 4.945 centimeter. 4.945 centimeter. So in order to draw the velocity diagram, so in the configuration diagram, first we have to see which are the fixed points. So here O and C are the fixed point. So first we have to locate the fixed point. So in small letter OC. So this represents the fixed point, because in the configuration diagram these two are the fixed point. So let us start with the crank. So for this crank we have a tangential velocity VPC, right? So it is acting perpendicular to it. So out of this PC, C is known from the velocity diagram. Therefore from point C parallel to this, draw a line, and the length of the line should be 4.945 centimeter, because in the previous slide we have seen we have taken the scale. So therefore VCP becomes 4.945 centimeter. So therefore parallel to this, from this point C, draw a line. This line should be parallel to this. So use the scale and draw a parallel line. So the length of this line should be 4.945 centimeter. This is nothing but VPC, that is velocity of P with respect to C. Therefore this another end point should be named as P. Okay, so the representation of first velocity is over. So coming to this slider belongs to the crank CP. We got velocity VQP. So out of this QP, P is known, right? Out of this QP, P is known. Therefore from point P parallel to this, draw a line. So magnitude and direction I don't know, simply draw one line and extend it. Simply draw a line and extend it. Okay, so this line represent velocity of Q with respect to P. Since we don't know the magnitude and direction, so we are not marking any name to the other end point. So we'll move on to the next velocity of Q with respect to O. So out of this QO, O is known, right? So from this point O parallel to this, draw a line. For this also I don't know the magnitude and direction. Simply draw one line. Simply draw one line. This line represent velocity of Q with respect to O. So wherever these two lines intersect, this intersection point is nothing but Q, because here we have QP and here we have QO. Q is common. Therefore this intersection point becomes Q. Okay, so next in order to represent this velocity of E with respect to D, either I want E point or D point. So in the velocity diagram we don't have neither E nor D point. Therefore we have to locate point D on this velocity diagram, and we know from the configuration diagram, so this D lies on line O QD, right? OQD are on the same straight line. OQD is our same straight line. Therefore, by using ratio relation. So before that, we have to locate the direction of this velocity. So this velocity q with respect to p, since we are finding velocity of q with respect to p, direction should be like this, towards q. Here also direction should be towards q, because we are finding velocity of q with respect to o. Okay, so next, in order to locate the point D, so this point D should be lie on a straight line OQD. So here we have OQ, so next point is D, but I don't know the distance of that point D. So to find the distance of point D, we are considering the ratio. So ratio on OQ by OD on this configuration diagram should be equals to the ratio of length of OQ divided by OD. So here OQ is nothing but 5.2 centimeter, whereas OD is 8.2, and OQ, measure the distance of this OQ from velocity diagram. So I got 3.2 centimeter. Only unknown is OD. Therefore, OD can be simplified easily. So I got OD value 5.20 centimeter. So now measure along this line, measure 5.2 centimeter and locate point D. So I got point D at this point, and its length is from here to here, its length is 5.2 centimeter. Now I got point D, therefore easily I can locate this velocity ED. Right, out of this ED, D is known, therefore from point D parallel to this, draw a line. And also we can find this velocity of D with respect to O, and direction should be towards D. Okay, so now VED, so parallel to this, draw a line from point D. I don't know the magnitude and direction, simply draw one line parallel to this. This is nothing but velocity of DE with respect to D. So let's move on to the next velocity, velocity of E with respect to O. So out of this EO, O is known from the velocity diagram. Therefore from point O parallel to this, draw a line and extend the line till it reaches this line. So this represents velocity of E with respect to O. So intersection point is nothing but E, because this line represents ED, velocity of ED, this represents velocity of EO. So E is common, therefore this intersection point is nothing but E. So direction towards E, because we are finding E with respect to O. Here direction should be towards E, because we are finding E with respect to D. So like this we can draw the velocity diagram. So next one, we have to calculate the velocities. So first, we are going to find the length of OQ. So we got length of OQ from the velocity diagram 3.2, and the scale is 0.2. Therefore, its velocity is 0.64 meter per second. For this velocity, we are finding the angular velocity of QO, because in order to find the Coriolis component of acceleration, we need this angular velocity. That's why we are finding this velocity. But in the problem, it is not asked to find the angular velocity of QO. This is required in order to find the Coriolis component of acceleration. So that's why we are finding the angular velocity. So VQO I got 0.64 meter per second, and length of QO is 0.26. So I want omega QO. So here length of configuration diagram we have to take, length of configuration diagram. Therefore omega QO 2.46 radians per second. So similarly we have to find length of QP, this length of QP, which represent velocity of QP. So I got by measurement I got 3.7 centimeter, multiply the scale, therefore velocity of QP becomes 0.74 meter per second. Similarly ED, the length of ED I got 2 centimeter, after multiplying it with the scale, its velocity becomes 0.4 meter per second. Next, so velocity of OE. So measure the length of this line OE in velocity diagram. It is 5.3 centimeter, multiply the scale, Therefore, velocity of EO becomes 1.06 meter per second. So next one, so we are going to uh, see how exactly the accelerations are acting on configuration diagram. So let us start with the crank. So this crank is rotating with uniform speed. Therefore, only radial acceleration is acting towards the center of rotation. You can see the radial acceleration is acting towards the center of rotation. This is nothing but radial acceleration of P with respect to C. So coming to the slider, when slider belongs to this crank CP, we get only tangential acceleration because the slider is having infinite radius. Therefore, its radial acceleration is 0. Tangential acceleration of P with respect to Q. So next, let us consider this OQ, this slider on link OD. So here the center of rotation is O. Therefore, radial acceleration will act towards the center of rotation. This is nothing but radial acceleration of Q with respect to O. And since it is not having rotational motion, it is having oscillatory motion. Therefore, we are going to obtain another element of acceleration, that is tangential acceleration, which is a tangent to the link or perpendicular to the link. Tangential acceleration of Q with respect to O. This is over. So coming to the link DE, for this link DE also we are going to obtain the two types of velocity. One is radial acceleration, which is acting towards the center of rotation, that is radial acceleration of D with respect to E. Another one is tangential acceleration of D with respect to E, because this is having oscillatory motion. Next, for this ram E, since it is oscillating, since it is having sliding motion and radius is at infinite, therefore radial acceleration becomes 0. We have only tangential acceleration. ATEO is equals to, we have to find what is the tangential acceleration of E with respect to O. So next, we have one more component of acceleration, that is Coriolis component of acceleration. So in this slider, how exactly the Coriolis component of acceleration is acting, or in which direction Coriolis component of acceleration is acting. So in order to see that, let us consider the link OD. On this link we have a slider Q, right? So we got the velocity of this slider Q with respect to O in this direction, that is forward direction, right? So velocity is acting in a forward direction, and it is rotating in a clockwise direction. Therefore, Coriolis component of acceleration will follow the direction of rotation. Direction of rotation is clockwise, therefore Coriolis component of acceleration will come in the same direction. So here we have to represent the Coriolis component of acceleration. Try to understand this. This is the direction of Coriolis component of acceleration, because velocity is acting forward direction and it is rotating in clockwise. Therefore, Coriolis component of acceleration will follow the same direction. So here also you represent with the Coriolis component of acceleration. Again, this is for your reference. So it does not carry any marks in the examination. But if we draw the acceleration like this, it becomes easy for us to draw the acceleration diagram. Next, so before drawing the acceleration diagram, so let us calculate all the values, that is radial and tangential acceleration. For the link CP, length is 0.105, velocity 0.989, therefore its radial acceleration becomes 9.315. Tangential acceleration is 0, and Coriolis component of acceleration is also not known. Then coming to the link PQ, since it is a slider, it does not have any length, and velocity we got 0.74 meter per second, and radial acceleration is unknown because radius is at infinite, and tangential acceleration is 0. So here the term Coriolis component of acceleration will come. So the formula is 2v omega is the formula. So here velocity, we have to consider this velocity. When it comes to angular velocity, we have to consider OQ, omega OQ, because uh, the Coriolis component of acceleration is occurring on the link OQ because of the oscillating link OQ. Therefore, we have to consider the angular acceleration of OQ. So therefore, after simplifying, we got Coriolis component 3.64 meter per second square. Similarly, for OQ, 0.265 its length is, and velocity 0.64, radial acceleration after simplifying we got 1.55, tangential acceleration is unknown, and there is no Coriolis component. For the link DE, link length is 0.165 and velocity 0.4, radial acceleration 0.969, tangential acceleration unknown, and 0 Coriolis component. For the slider E, it does not have any length, but velocity is 1.06 meter per second. Radial acceleration is 0 because radius is 0. Tangential acceleration is unknown. Coriolis component is 0. So we have to consider suitable scale in order to draw the acceleration diagram. So we are considering 1 centimeter is equals to 1 meter per second square. So first of all, in order to draw the acceleration diagram, we have to locate the fixed center. So in this configuration diagram, O and C are the fixed centers. First we have to locate O and C. First we have to locate the fixed center. So let us start with the crank CP. For the crank CP, we have radial acceleration PC. So parallel to this from point O, because here PC, out of this PC, C is known. Therefore, from point C parallel to this, draw a line. So length of this line is, so length of this line CP is 9.315, 9.315, and this line end point we are going to name it as P. So location of this radial acceleration is over. Next, we have to locate this special acceleration, Coriolis acceleration. So out of this PQ, we know P. Therefore, from point P parallel to this, draw a line. Draw a line, and its length is 3.64 centimeter. Length of this PQ is 3.64 centimeter, because from in the previous slide we have calculated the value of this Coriolis component, and I'm going to name this one as Q dash, because we have another component to represent. Therefore, I will name this one as Q dash. Okay, so this line represents the Coriolis component of PQ. Direction should be towards P. For this also direction should be towards P. So coming to the tangential acceleration of PQ. So here this tangential acceleration of PQ is a tangent to the Coriolis component. Please try to understand, this tangential acceleration of PQ is a tangent to this Coriolis component or perpendicular to the Coriolis component. Therefore, from this point Q dash, perpendicular to this or parallel to this, draw a line. Draw a line. I don't know the magnitude and direction of this tangential acceleration. Simply draw one line like this. So this line represents tangential acceleration of P with respect to Q. So coming to the next set of acceleration, first we have to choose radial acceleration. So radial acceleration of Q with respect to O. So out of this QO, O is known. From point O parallel to this, draw a line. Okay, so from point O parallel to this, draw a line, and length of this line should be 1.55. Length of this line should be 1.55. This is nothing but radial acceleration of Q with respect to O. So I will name this one as X, because I can't name this one as a Q. Why? We have another acceleration to represent. Therefore, I can't name this one as Q. Simply, I will call this one as X or Y or Z. So name this one as X. This is over. So next we have tangential acceleration, which is a tangent to this acceleration. Therefore from point x perpendicular to this or tangent to this, simply draw one line and extend it. I don't know the magnitude and direction of this line. Parallel to this, draw a line. This line represents tangential acceleration of q with respect to O. So wherever these two lines intersect, the intersection name is Q, because here we have QO and PQ. So Q is common, therefore this intersection point represents the Q. So this is over. So next, this is the direction. This is the direction of acceleration. So next, we have to join this OQ. We have to join this OQ, because if you see this configuration diagram, we have a straight line connection between OQ and D. In order to locate this point D, we should have a connection between this OQD line. We should have a connection between OQD line. So since we have next set of acceleration DE, out of this DE, we don't have D, neither D nor E. Therefore, we have to locate the point D. So again, I will consider the same ratio OQ by OD on the configuration diagram should be equals to OQ by OD on the acceleration diagram. So length OQ is 5.2 centimeter, OD is 8.2 centimeter, and measure this length OQ from the acceleration diagram. I got 3.6 centimeter. So now find OD length. So OD is 5.67 centimeter. Now continue this line till we achieve a length of 5.67 centimeter. So I will extend this line. So therefore the total length become 5.67 centimeter, and I will name this one as point D. Coming to the next set of acceleration. So here we have radial acceleration DE. So out of this DE, D is known. Okay, from point D parallel to this, take a length of 0.969 or 1 centimeter. From point D, take 1 centimeter, draw a line parallel to this. This is nothing but radial acceleration of DE. So name this one as Y, because we have another component of acceleration to represent. Therefore, I will name this one as Y. Next, this is tangent to this acceleration. Therefore, from point Y, tangent to it, simply draw one line. I don't know the magnitude of this acceleration. Therefore, this represents tangential acceleration of DE. Next, coming to the next acceleration for this RAM, tangential acceleration of EO. Out of this EO, O is known. Therefore, from point O parallel to this, simply draw one line and extend it till it reaches this line. Okay, so this line is nothing but tangential acceleration of E with respect to O. So intersection point becomes E, because here we have EO and DE. So E is common, therefore this intersection point is nothing but E. So direction of acceleration is towards E. Here also direction of acceleration should be towards E. So here we have two set of acceleration. One is tangential and another one is radial. Therefore, we have to connect OQ. We have to connect OQ. So here we have OQ connection. This line represents the total acceleration of OQ. Similarly, here also we have two acceleration, radial and tangential. In order to find the total acceleration or resultant acceleration, we have to connect DE, ED or DE. So connect these two, it represents the total acceleration of link ED. So in this problem, no need to find this total acceleration, but sometimes in exam, if they may ask to find the total acceleration, you have to draw this line, measure the length, and find the total angular acceleration. So this is the procedure to draw the acceleration diagram. So next, using this acceleration diagram, so we have to find the angular acceleration or determine the acceleration. So tangential acceleration of EO. So for that, first we have to measure the length of this line, EO or OE. So we got 4.8 centimeter, scale is 1 centimeter, therefore we got acceleration 4.8 meter per second square.